in today's video I'm going to be removing those valve seals, factory original valve seals, and as you can see on this side I've actually got them removed, so you can see just the valve guides there, and on that side I've still got the seals. So I'm going to be replacing all those seals with new and very high quality Viton seals. So I bought those from Suzuki Performance Spares, and allegedly this is a really good quality product. So let me just show you what they look like. So this is the old one that I've just taken out from this head, and they'll have this thin metal ring on them which sits in this groove here. So my way of removing it, and by the way I don't know if this is the best way, if this is the correct way, I've got no proper tools to do it. So what I do is I go in there with this pick, and I've got everything taped here, not to mark those pockets for the buckets in the head, but what I do is I basically pull this ring of it, and once the ring is off it's actually fairly easy to remove it. I just grab it from the bottom and pull it up. Let's see, maybe I'm going to be able to capture it with the camera. I'm not sure if that's going to be captured, but I'm going in there and I'm going to pull this ring down. It comes off really easily actually, and then I'm going to grab it from the bottom and try to pull the seal upwards, and hopefully it's going to come up. Oh, come on, come on, yep. So it came off. Right, here we have it. And now I'm gonna just gently grab this ring from there. So I'm going to continue removing all of them now, and I'll see you in a minute when they're all gone. So here is another very interesting aspect of this build. This Suzuki RF900 cylinder head has to be modified to match GSXR 1100 head gasket. So here I've got the old compressed head gasket which I've taken off that engine, and look what's going to happen if I place it on this cylinder head. It matches perfectly fine when it comes to outer edges of this gasket, but if you have a closer look, there's going to be areas like here for instance, or here, here and here, where you've got this metal surface of the head being visible through those holes, and those are holes for cooling channels where coolant goes through, and you've got another one here and you've got that one here. So as you can see, all that extra metal here has to be removed to allow the flow of coolant. So once again, have a look at this here. Is the areas like this here, is the areas like this. You see how big the port is in the gasket. So all that stuff, there we've got another one here, then you've got those here. So all those places have to be Dremeled to make a perfect match, or close to perfect match, between the hole in the gasket and then the hole in the cylinder head. And this is my next job for now.
A few moments later.
So have a look folks, I've got two channels expanded already, it's those two here. So now when I'm gonna put this head gasket on the head, you can see, let me magnify it a bit, you can see the difference. So like for instance, this port here and this port here have not been touched yet, whereas those two have been somewhat matched. So I'm just going to spend a couple more minutes on those two to make a perfect match, and I'm going to move on to the next one. So I've spent some time working on those little holes here, and it's coming out pretty nicely. I've got a really nice match, so there is no visible material of the cylinder head at present. Let's have a look at the top. As you can see, I still haven't touched it here, so there's plenty of work to do, and I'm going to be doing it right now. Alright, so let's have a look at the progress. The match is a lot better. So if you compare it to the port from here, you can see that a lot of material was removed. So now if you have a look, you're going to see that there's going to be no obstacles for the coolant to go through, compared to this port here, for instance. Alright, let's tackle another one.
A few moments later.
Alright peeps, so here we have it. Cylinder head modified. Yeah, I've got those little protrusions here, here, okay, and also here and here, and here at the bottom as well. So let's have a look what it looks like with the gasket on. Looks pretty good. Here, so that's been modified. That's been modified. Those small ones at the top were modified. There we go. And those here were also modified. And now we've got nice match between the gasket and the ports. So obviously I have to clean the cylinder head pretty damn well. So I spent some time cleaning it with the air compressor and then with pressurized water, and I must say it looks pretty damn good now. See, guides all exposed, so now I'm going to install the new high performance valve stem seals. Right, so here I have the new seal, different color. Previously they were green, now they're blue. Different material, allegedly. That's what they look like inside. You've got this little metal ring around it. And so to install them I'm going to use this Motion Pro valve seal installer. This is a 4.5mm one, which is the type that GSX-R 1100 and RF engines use. So that tool grabs it like that and you can nicely install it without the risk of damaging it. But before we do it, they say to dip it in the oil. So I've got my little oil cap here. Alright, so seal nicely oiled up. I'm now gonna put it on my tool and install it here. Superb, so nice and easy. Okay, so let me try to show you what I'm doing here. We've got the valve guide here. Can I expose it a bit more? There we go. We've got a valve guide there. Grabbing a new seal, I'm going to dip it in oil. Now I'm going to put it on the tool. Here we have it. And now I'm going to align the tool with the hole in the valve guide and push it in. That's it, installed. I'm going to push it and it's installed. So the tool is oiled up. I'm gently putting this in the seal. Now I'm going to dip it in oil. And now it simply goes in here. And it's installed. Alright, so once again, the tool was dipped in oil. I'm going to gently put it onto the seal. Now I'm going to dip the seal in oil and hopefully you'll be able to see how it all goes in. Okay, and it's installed. There we go. Very easy. I'm gonna do the rest of them now, and I'll see you in a moment. Alright, so here we have it, folks. I've got all my new Viton valve stem seals installed. Head is nice and clean, and now it's time to install the valves and springs and the whole rest. So I bought myself a set of brand new valve cutters. That was a recommendation of somebody who builds engines. So I'm going to use brand new valve keepers. So I'm going to film installing maybe 2 valves, 1 intake, 1 exhaust, and then I'm going to continue doing it without filming because this process is extremely tedious. Right, so again, brand new valve keepers. This is the part number. I'm going to be again installing the intake valve. So the first part that goes in is the valve spring seat. I'm going to dip it in oil. Alright, and then it goes in here, which I'm going to use a magnet for. So once it's there, I'm going to gently try to lower it, making sure I'm not destroying the metal ring on the valve seal, and it seems like it sits in. So the next part that goes in is the valve spring, and according to service manual, the side with remains of paint goes towards the top, so it goes in like that. And then at the very top we've got the valve spring retainer, which I'm going to dip in oil again. That goes on top of that. The next part is going to be obviously the valve, which needs to be lubed. So the whole stem needs to be lubed from the top to the bottom properly. Okay, the valve came to the top. And now I'm going to be cranking the tool on it. Now right, so now I'm going to be dropping the keepers in, so hopefully they'll just nicely drop in. Right, the first one there, left side, and now the second one from here. Right, and now if I start releasing the tension on the spring, it should grab the keepers nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to gently remove the tool. And here we have another valve installed. So that's the way you do it. I'm not going to do all 16 with the camera because it's too much of the pain in the ass. I'll see you again when it's all installed. So unfortunately I've made a little cock up, and let me explain to you what I've done. So you see those valve stem seals? So if you have a closer look, you'll see that those seals have this little metal ring, and what I've done, I've installed all the valve stem seals on the valve guides without installing this before. This is obviously the valve spring seat, and now once you've got the valve seals installed on the guides and you're trying to push those valve seats through what's going to happen is there is a risk of stripping that ring from this valve seal, and that's what I've actually found out happened on one of my seals. So the correct order of installation would then be you install that first on the guide, and then you install the seal on it. So it's not a major cock-up, because once this is all nicely lubed, you can still push that seat over that seal without taking the little ring off. It is possible, but you've got to be really careful.